So I want to share with you some of my wants. I want people to act right, right? I want people to act right. I want kindness to be mandated. I want all of the grown humans who have any privilege and power in the world to know oneness and to be connected to their inherent connection to all that is in this living planet, and I want them to act like that's the truth. Right? What do you want? All of that. But I want you to think about really like what it is that you are wanting right now.
Freedom from fear.
Freedom from fear. Put it in the comments, my beloveds online. What do you want? Enough. Say louder. This. Laughter. You want what? You want to want nothing. Anybody else who wants to be a very spiritually involved person and wants to be free of want? Yeah. Now I want you to ask yourself, why do you want that? And I'll share my why. I want that because I believe that if everybody would just act right and do right, then I would feel safe. Then I would know that my sweet child would be okay. I would feel and believe that there's a future for this planet and for humanity. I want that because I want to have a sense of security, safety, and love. But from the 15 Commitments of Conscious Leadership, wanting comes from a belief in lack. I can only want what I believe I don't have. But here's the real talk about that very spiritual concept, because it's true. We want because we think something's missing. I want people to act right because when I look out here, not y'all act beautifully. But when I look out there, there's a whole bunch of missing kindness, right? I can identify ad nauseum. I could not sleep for days and days just in the pointing at all the ways kindness and love and connection are missing. So it makes perfect sense that I believe love and kindness and connection are missing. However, there is a greater reality. There is a greater truth that could actually meet my desire to feel safe and secure and loved. And if I look at other people's behavior, if I look at the political landscape around the world, I ain't getting it. Not getting what I want. But yet there's this treasure map that we all have. There's this treasure map that we've all been invited to seek treasure on this map. And this map always leads to the treasure within us. This map is always pointing us to our infinite greater good. And even my misunderstanding, my belief in lack is on that map. That too is part of my wholeness. That too is for me to go, hey, I've been given a clue. Your desire, your wants, yes, they're an indication of what you believe is missing. So take a minute right now and think about, what is it that I really want that appears to be missing in my life? That appearance of lack, that appearance of not enough money, not enough good people in your life, not enough time, not enough whatever your not enoughness is, not enough freedom, that is a clue on your map to go, That experience of not enoughness is pointing me to a deeper desire that exists and that I can find and I can get access to. So why do I want that? Why do I want more money? Why do I want better relationships? Why do I want more time? Underneath that want is a real answer to your true desire. And you get to have it. They go on to say in this chapter, at any moment we are operating from one of two beliefs or experiences. Those who believe they lack something and want it, and are seeking to get it from someone or something outside of themselves. And those who believe they are already whole, perfect, and complete, and lack nothing. That's like an audacious belief, right? And my prayer right now in my life is more audacity. That's audacious, to walk around in this world with a whole bunch of circumstances and inherited norms and cultural beliefs that are full of shiznit, to walk around and believe, me as a Black queer woman, that I am whole, perfect, and complete. But that is what we are after in spiritual life. Whether we call it communion with the One, whether we call it communion with each other, whether we call it peace, whether we call it agape love, what we are actually seeking, that deeper desire beneath the want, is to know that we are whole and perfect and complete. Is to know ourselves as made in the image and likeness of the One. To have a lived experience of this truth, which is where freedom and abundance and all the things live. I want to share a story. If you were here Friday night, you probably heard this story. But there is a little plant here, and for those beloveds online, I don't know how well you can see this. But if you can see, there's just this little sweet baby plant in this jar. And this plant had been named Spirit by the kiddos in our nursery almost a decade ago. I see some of those grown kiddos now. And this plant has been living in that nursery for that whole time. But when COVID hit, we forgot all about it. That plant has been in there, crumpled up, spilled onto the floor, unwatered, no sun. And when Andrea, the former lead of our nursery, went in to clean up and get ready for our move, she found this little baby plant growing from the bare root of Spirit, without any outer resources or circumstances to give it life. But this baby plant named Spirit knew what it was, knew itself to be a plant, knew itself to be a plant that grows and sprouts new leaves, and didn't need anybody outside of it to tell it what it was or make it what it was. And each one of us has the power and the wholeness and the completeness in us to be what it is that we are, which are divine manifestations of the Holy Blessed One. Here on purpose by divine appointment. And there is nothing in the outer world. There is no man-made law, no cultural norm, no agreements you've made in your family or inherited beliefs you've gotten in your family that can tell you what you are. You are much like Spirit. Just give yourself permission to go on being what it is that you are. The other thing Spirit knew was where to look. Spirit knew that whatever light and moisture that was available in that room, it could find and make use of. And this treasure map that you and I have been given, this treasure map points us to all the wholeness that life is, that our relationships are, that even our BS stories that are untrue, this map shows us how to navigate that and make use so that we can discover the isness that we are. We each have an individual map. Like, you can't use my map. I can't use your map. You know, that's saying that, you can't pretend to be somebody else they're already taken. You can't use their map. You have a map that is guiding you to the treasure, which is your divine true nature. And the illusion that there's not enough kindness to go around, the illusion of separation, which I believe is the greatest ill of humankind. This false illusion is also an invitation for me to go, okay, there's more for me to know. I think this thing is missing. I think this thing is true, but if I allow that to be a clue on my map, where might it guide me? Where would this misbelief take me deeper into truth? Might I discover that really what is lying underneath that fear, the fear that I'm not going to be okay, that I'm not going to be safe, or that my kid's not going to be safe, or there's not enough for everybody, might guide me to what is really rising in me, which is an impulse of connection. The impulse to be the demonstration of enoughness. The impulse to be the loving kindness that I wish to see in the world. Because how would I even know loving kindness was a thing if it wasn't already in me? How would I recognize that it is missing in the manifest universe if it wasn't already in me? If it's a thing, how would I know that it's a thing? Because that impulse of love, which is the divine nature that we each are, that impulse to create, that impulse to continually evolve and manifest itself and sprout new leaves like plant spirit, is divinely given. It is innate in each one of us. And the very thing we think we're lacking may be like the lid that you need to take off and go, oh my God, I have that. What's really rising in me is to be the presence of that. If I think there's not enough abundant life, resources, what if I lifted the lid of that? What if I lifted the lid of that and discovered, oh wait, that is mine to give? Rather than beat myself up for manifesting lack, for manifesting not enoughness, for being in a crappy relationship, or whatever the thing is that you think you've done wrong. What if this is your map unfolding right in front of you and saying, come on, darling, take another step. This may be your very way to a greater reality that you have yet to recognize. Because what happens when the attention turns from, oh my God, this crap out here is all true and real, and there isn't anything else? What if you turned your attention away from that story and said, oh, that crap and that not enoughness and that unkindness and that whatever it is waving at me, asking me to go deeper. It's saying, hey, there is a clue that is taking you this way on your map, which leads to treasure. The ancient process of alchemy, right, as we turn lead into gold. And each one of us are practitioners of alchemy. Each one of us is a living transmutation station who can take anything from the outer circumstance, anything from illusion, and turn it into gold. That is part of the divine nature that you and I have been gifted with as emanations on purpose, representatives of the Holy Blessed One. Every single one of us has this capacity to perform alchemy. And we're supposed to. That's what's really exciting. Nothing has gone wrong. Have you heard that before? Yes. Nothing has gone wrong, which is really, really hard to wrap our brains around when you look out at the world. Really hard. But if you know yourself to be someone who can perform alchemy, if you know yourself to be that audacious, whole, perfect, and complete, divinely appointed emanation of the Holy Blessed One, then all of it is for good. All of it is an opportunity to go, ooh, how can I transmute this into a greater love? How can I allow the wholeness and perfection of myself to take this in and transform it into a greater manifestation of what I truly would love to see in the world? This is what we are doing here. The wholeness and perfection that already is on the macro, in the mystery, in what we can't see, is also true on the micro, and what we can see. And the whole deal with spiritual life, with spiritual evolution, is to become conscious and aware of that truth, to be the living experience of this wholeness, which means you cannot screw it up. Even when it looks like humanity is on the brink of existence, you cannot screw it up. are infinite chances to be a greater and greater expression of this truth. The work becomes turning our attention to it with all the kindness and compassion for ourselves. For when I trip up and stumble and fall into fear, for when I believe that something is going terribly wrong in my life or in life, I get to know, okay, this too is part of my wholeness. So I'm not going to waste any time beating myself up for having the fear, for having the want, for wanting to have a different experience. I am going to turn my attention into what is lying beneath that. I am going to turn my attention into the greater invitation that Spirit is offering me to follow my map to treasure. And I'm going to ask, okay, why? What is rising in me as an impulse of love? What is rising in you as an impulse to be a greater representation of what you think is missing? We can want what we want like a toddler. Or we can want what we want like a whole, perfect, and complete being. And that is when you say, oh, wait, I'm about to perform alchemy because I am here by divine appointment. I am here as a transmutation station for the greater good. So when I notice desire and want rising in me, then I am also noticing a responsibility to bring it. Which is why we are grown folks. Which is why we no longer look to others like a toddler to provide the need. We allow ourselves to take up the space, the audacious space, to be the wholeness that life is, to become conscious of a greater reality that wants to show itself on this planet at this time. There's no need to wait for somebody else to do it. You're the one. And you're the one on purpose. Your life has always been critical to the fabric, the one fabric that we are each a beautiful thread in. So that want that lives in you, it's asking for your attention. It's asking for your attention in a real way. In the capital R greater reality that we are already whole, perfect, and complete way. So I'm going to share with you an affirmation that you can take with you, because I get it. Stuff is distracting out there. Which is why it's more important than ever that we become masterful as performers of alchemy. That you and I step into our greater responsibility as a member of this one life. That you decide wholeheartedly to be audacious in how you are willing to show up in the world. And there's a simple affirmation that you can use to retrain your attention, which is God is, I am. God is, I am. And you can just do it in a circular chant, thought process. God is, I am. God is, I am. God is, I am. God is. And if it feels audacious, good. And I want you to do this as part of your daily activity. Because you and I have a lot to be distracted by. We've inherited a lot of false beliefs and ways of being that do not serve our wholeness. So I want you to do it when you're waiting for a page to load. I want you to do it when you get out of the car. I want you to do it every time you go to the bathroom. God is, I am. I want you to work this into your living life so that it becomes the greater focus rather than all the BS out here. Deal? Yeah.